Hi guys, welcome back to another video of mine, and welcome to my channel if you are new here. I hope you're all doing well. So on our channel we've done a lot of house tours. We get on here frequently and talk about pros and cons to buying a new build, kind of the buying house process. Today we thought it would be worthwhile talking about a step-by-step guide to buying a house, literally from the idea of just thinking about it to the day you exchange contracts. So we wanted to go in a little bit more detail about that today. So the first point we wanted to talk about were timeframes. Timeframes are really important, I think.
Yeah, it's not quick, is it? I mean, what we're looking at, it took me 2 months to sell my flat, a bit longer than usual because it was a shared ownership property. But after that, about a month to get in a position of putting an offer in, and then 10 weeks from there.
Yeah, I think you think it's going to be like quite a quick moving game. Once you get the ball rolling, it's going to be like plain sailing and quite quick. But actually, I think probably all in all, we were about 14 weeks. So
yeah, definitely. So bear that in mind. It's not going to move quickly, is it? You're not going to get it done in 2 weeks. You have to time it right, depending on where you come from. Because if you're renting a property, you know, you might have a 6-month clause, or you might have to wait till the end of the year. You actually have to time it quite well sometimes.
Yeah.
So you thought about your time frames. Now is an important time to check your credit, because that can change everything. You know, go on Experian or Credit Karma or whatever. It tells you how good your credit is, if it's down, if there's things wrong, you know, because you might find, oh, actually my credit's terrible. So your time frame is going to get knocked out, and then you can spend whatever the next 6 months building up your credit.
That's what I was just about to say. You can really spend that time then to figure out, well, okay, how can I improve that? So it definitely is worth checking, even if it gives you some sort of anxiety. Get it done, check it out, because you can figure out what can be sorted between now and then.
You need to know how much money you can borrow from the very start before you start looking at properties.
Yeah.
So speak to a mortgage broker. They can get you what's called a decision in principle. We made that mistake, didn't we? We looked at all these properties, thought, oh, that's a lovely 4 million penthouse in London. Actually doesn't quite fit the bill. When you speak to a mortgage broker, they'll tell you a roundabout figure, how much you can earn based on, you know, your deposit, how much you earn, this, that, whatever.
Yeah, they give you like a rough guide and just kind of help you on your way, because I didn't know anything about this. Obviously Sean had done it before, but for us, it's all well saying, oh, right move, yeah, no, I've seen a lovely 4-bed house. However, the reality is, can my salary afford that? Probably not. So yeah, your mortgage broker is going to give you all of that info. So definitely, I would advise a mortgage broker.
Make sure you fit the criteria. So a shared ownership property, for example, they might need you to work or live in the borough you're trying to buy. Just things like that. You know, don't fall in love with a property that then find you can't even bid, or you're nowhere near it.
You finally got your amount for your house, and now it's time to do the fun bit and find your dream home. So this is really when you can kind of explore different locations. You can look at the areas, you can look at what you can get, and really kind of figure out what you want to compromise on, whether that be, okay, well, I want an extra bedroom. Okay, well, let's go 10 miles out of the city if that's where you're looking in hindsight. So yeah, I think that's the really exciting bit. That was definitely what
fun bit, isn't it?
I got very excited about looking at on Rightmove. I was like, oh, a 3-bed house, like a house, a garden. Yeah, so you can start really, you know, getting quite involved in the process, and like Sean said, it's definitely the exciting bit.
Yeah, and then you find one and you go and have a look, and that is exciting, isn't it? You get an impression of a house from photos, and it doesn't do it justice at all sometimes, does it?
Or sometimes the photos are incredible and you go and you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
I've walked into someone's like bed.
You get completely different vibes, like being there, smelling the place out, seeing what, you know.
Nightmare
we saw
neighbour.
a beautiful house, didn't we? We thought, why is it so cheap? Because it was stunning. It was like the garden was huge. There was an outhouse at the back.
Gorgeous.
There was
fireplace,
perfect.
Features.
We knew the parking wasn't very good, but that couldn't have been it. As soon as we got there, the next door neighbour, oh, what's that program on Channel 4? Hoarded.
Yeah, it was
God,
like
there was
that.
Newspapers stacked up right there in the windows.
Yeah, the windows are like boarded off. There was like overgrown shrub all over the house. And then when we went in the back garden, I was like, well, it's okay. Like maybe the neighbour's just, you know, away and has been away for a few years. And
15 years.
15 years. And we went in the garden and stood back and looking at the house. I was like, oh my God, it's gorgeous. It had this big like extension done in the kitchen, and it was just so lovely. And then you look to the left and there's again just a house with loads of overgrown stuff. And I said to Sean, like, I bet you any money there's rats running around there as well. So like, imagine just in our garden relaxing in this beautiful home, but yet you've got a bit of a nightmare neighbour, unfortunately. So as much as it's exciting going around looking at homes, again, you really do filter out the crap, I think,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
you kind of get a good idea for what's really on the market and what you can really get for your money. So the next step, after you've obviously found your dream house and you really want to move in and you can really visualize yourself being there, would be to make an offer.
Yeah, so don't buy more than you can afford. Just remember, it's not just your deposit and your property. You've got lots of fees outside of that, and you also got to buy a lot of stuff when you move in. Bear that in mind. So don't go over budget. You know, be fair, put in a good offer. If they accept it, try and get them to take it off the market, because at that point, someone else could have a viewing the day after. They could bid $1,000 more than you and it's gone.
I feel like when you're looking for properties as well, just because like a house is on for £250,000 doesn't necessarily mean that it's worth £250,000. In terms of your offer, really do go in at a cheeky offer. For the first offer would be my advice. We certainly went in about 25-30 grand less than what they were asking.
And that's the joy of buying from a new build, isn't it? Because you've got a bit more flexibility to negotiate. And also talk about fixtures and fittings and everything inside. When I sold my flat, it was a 3rd story flat and the elevator was always broke. It was a pain in the ass getting stuff in. So my table, my sofa and stuff, I offered it to the people who was buying it from. You know, they bought it off me at a decent price. It saved me having to get rid of it. I was going to have to sell it anyway, so it saved everyone a deal. So you got your mortgage in principle. The mortgage broker said you should be able to borrow this amount. Now's the time to actually go out and prove it. So at this point, you know, you're using the mortgage broker, so they should be giving you the best offer. But if not, if you are doing it yourself, don't just, you know, some people just go to their bank. It's good to shop around, but this is the stage where you actually, you know, the bank goes through their credit checks. You've got to give them a lot more information. You know, your ins, every single payment that goes through. They're like, was it 3-6 months of your bank statements?
Yeah, it's quite invasive, the checks they do. They literally want to know how much you're spending on your hair appointment and stuff. We kind of have spoke about this briefly in one of our other videos, which I will link up here if you want to check that out. But you feel like you're being interrogated. Yeah. Why are you spending this amount on your gym? And why did you go to ZZ and buy a pizza?
3 days,
a 3rd dessert.
3 days on the trot.
Yeah.
But also, you know, you've got to bear in mind that it can fall down at any part of this whole process, and this is a big sticking point. It's quite annoying because, you know, you don't know whether you're definitely going to get that mortgage up until this point.
So the next stage of the process is to get your solicitor to try and get the ball rolling, to get these steps in motion. Just
because your dad recommends a solicitor don't necessarily mean they're the best one.
No.
You know, go out there, get some prices. It is expensive and it's frustrating. The solicitor part of the process is just long-winded.
You know, often your family or friends probably have bought a property and they've probably used a solicitor, or they can tell you a solicitor that they've used was an absolute headache, so you can avoid. So you can always get kind of feedback from friends and family that are nearby, especially if they live in the area that you're looking to move into.
So you pick your solicitor, now it's their time to shine.
Solicitors are kind of there to run searches for you, so they should do like drainage searches, environmental searches, I think local authority searches. Yes. We don't know like the ins and outs of them.
But you've got to bear in mind that these are chargeable at that point.
Yeah.
So this is, you know, you're getting to the stage now where if it falls through, you can start to lose a bit of money.
Yeah, because you still have to get them done regardless.
Yeah, definitely. And as we learn, keep in touch with your solicitor all the time. Just call them every day. Why not? Because they sit on things. That's what makes the whole process drawn out and take much longer. If you know they're waiting on something, call them. Say, you know, what's happening? Is it done?
Yeah,
is it done?
Definitely chase. And again, if they live up the road and they're asking you to like scan stuff in, which I know again we have spoken about in a previous video, just go and deliver it to their door, because we had so much back and forth personally where we were like, we've sent you it, have you not got it? They were like, no, can you send it again? And it just delays it so much longer. So yeah, definitely keep on at them. Don't be afraid to be that annoying one, because I definitely was that. So
this is the point where you can do a property survey. We didn't do one because we were a new build, but some of my friends have, my family have. It's definitely worthwhile. Effectively, well, again, it will cost you £300-400, but someone will come out and check the drainage, check the roofs, the walls, subsidence, damp, little things that you might have missed, but actually has a big bearing on whether or not you even want to move in the property. Things can fall down from that.
But yeah, we're in like a flood risk area, so that could be something that really kind of makes you, you know, you've had a bad experience with flooding before and you're like, no, I'm not going to buy that property now. So now it's time to hopefully arrange a completion date with the other party. So your solicitor will be doing that on your behalf, and that's very exciting because obviously that kind of means hopefully, if all goes well, that's the day you exchange and get the keys. So obviously the completion date is something that's just kind of penciled in. It's not a guarantee. I know our completion date probably got changed 2 or 3 times, but yeah, just bear in mind that just because it says that date, it might be a few weeks after.
You have to bear in mind you're selling also, don't you? So it has to be a of completion date that works for everybody.
So once all that's gone through, it's time to then get your deposit sent to your solicitor, which I, from memory, can remember feeling so bloody anxious about transferring that amount of money over, because it kind of goes into like a holding place.
3 sources of money really. We had my flat, which was obviously still to sell, but then we have my money that I saved since, and Elise's money that she saved, and that all goes to the solicitor.
Yeah, so if you've got like a 10 grand saving, imagine transferring £10,000. Just triple check those details before you press send is my biggest advice for that.
And it's at that point that they send the contract for you to sign. So now you've exchanged contracts, things start to move a bit quicker, don't they? Especially in the background, the solicitor does more searches. Everything they need to do, talking amongst themselves, this all happens pretty quickly. I mean, they've still got quite a lot to do, but this is where it really starts to step up.
Yeah, the pace kind of picks up, and then all of a sudden
you're getting calls like every day, aren't you? You're getting emails. The solicitor's just ringing you. You haven't heard of him for 2 months.
Yeah,
it's hard to get hold of him, and all of a sudden it's call. So now the solicitor's going to draw down the money from your lender, whoever it is, the bank or whatever, and that's job done. Now the solicitor has got your money, their money, everybody's money. Money's exchanged hands, but it's job done. You've completed. Yeah, you've completed, and then they give you the call. I got a call probably about 2 o'clock. I was chasing it all morning, like, are we going to get the keys? We're going to get the keys. And they said, yeah, we've got your keys. Do you want to come get them? And I was like, oh my God. I rang up Sean and I was like, Sean, hurry up, I've got the keys. So nice to actually walk into the house and lock the door yourself. I know that sounds so silly, but just walk around like the garden and just have a little moochie at the neighbours and have a little chat with the neighbours. And it was so surreal, I think, more leaving that night, going to my mum's and then coming back on the Saturday to come back and do stuff at the house and get some stuff sorted. We were like, that's actually our house that we're driving up to. Like, we own that house. It's really mad. Especially when you're moving down. I moved areas, didn't I? So
for you.
The 2.5 years before that, I went to the same place every night, the same drive into Little Hawley, and then all of a sudden I'm exploring a brand new place. Obviously we've spent a lot of time here, but
yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video very, very soon. Bye.